All right, welcome to Prize Picks on 5 here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick and at 5 Reasons Sports. Get Eric Wadicki. You can follow him at Eric Wadicki. Don't pay attention to the fact that I'm at the Heat Arena now. I'll be at the Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium later today for Dolphins and Cowboys. We're going to talk about the NFL today and the NBA tomorrow. David Eversole is the producer. Make sure you use the code 5, F-I-V-E. Get that initial deposit matched up to $100. The code 5. Again, get you that match up to 100. You don't need to play it all at once. We recommend putting down closer to the 100 than the 10, since, again, you're going to get that match one time. But this is free money. There is no rollover. It is legal in the state of Florida. You have no worries. You just need to make the right picks. And, of course, you can play picks on different players from different teams, but also different sports if you want to combine NBA with NFL. There's obviously some NBA props for the Christmas Day game that if you're willing to wait for your money, you can throw those in as well. Eric, let's get to Dolphins Cowboys today, though. The big story is that these teams haven't beaten anybody. We'll see who beats the other. Let's start with the quarterbacks, though, and which play we like better. You've got Tua here, I believe at 268.5, Dak at 275.5 in terms of passing yards. Would you play any of the quarterback props today?
I actually have a quarterback prop as one of my favorites today, and it's actually going to be under on Dak Prescott, 275.5 passing yards. This is a Dolphin secondary that's going to get healthier, and that numbers, Dak can hit that, but it's just too ambitious against this Dolphins pass defense, as you see, averaging just 245 over the last 5 games. I don't see Dak getting over 275.5 tonight or today.
Well, one of the big storylines this week has been the trouble they've had with cadence on the road. It's kind of this interesting storyline. Funny, with Cowboys, it's like the Lakers. Every storyline gets magnified and talked about on every single show. So I think I've heard that a million times about how he has struggled on the road. Their running game really hasn't traveled either, though. I do like him under today, and yet I kind of like CeeDee Lamb over on the receiving props. I know that's a little bit contrary, but because I don't think that Fangio is going to have necessarily Ramsey follow CeeDee Lamb around. I do think there's going to be some balls that are forced to him. So I might play some of the CeeDee Lamb props over on the receiver position. I would play Dak under, pivoting to Tua, 268.5. I'm going over today. I think, again, the Cowboys secondary takes some chances. The key here is protecting him, obviously, because they can get to the quarterback. I think they'll do that well enough today. They've got enough healthy bodies in the offensive line as they shift guys around. I'm going to play him over. I'm not necessarily, though, and I'll go to you here on the receivers, Eric. I'm not necessarily going to play the receivers or Hill over. I don't trust the ankle, I guess. Maybe that's it. I know he can get it on 2 plays, but I kind of feel like this is going to be a little bit more of a Waddle game, and his number is, I think, 28 yards lower than Hill's. So I'm going to shade that way. How would you play Tua and the receivers?
Yeah, it's funny. With Tua, I'm not certain with the injuries on the offensive line. I think you're probably going to see maybe a mix of game plans between what they did last week versus the Jets, with a lot more of the short passing game kind of mixed in with what they did earlier in the year. So if I'm playing anything on Tua, it's actually going to be completions. I think Tua would go over his completion number today.
Yeah, you see that 22.5 on completions. All right, let's take a look at the running game here. Mostert and Pollard, the 2 key guys to look at. Devon Chain, we haven't talked about him a whole lot lately because they have leaned so heavy. Mostert did not have a big game against the Jets, but then he ended up with 2 touchdowns. Anyway, would you play any of the Dolphins' backs today?
Yes, give me Raheem Mostert fantasy score at 12 points. This is a Cowboys team that when they have lost their games, they've lost it because they've lost to opposing running backs. I think they let James Conner go for 150 plus against them when they lost to Arizona. They let the Bills run for 266. Raheem Mostert, not only is he going to get the yards today, he's probably going to find pay dirt. And, anytime you can combine that with the touchdowns, fantasy points is a no-brainer for me.
I like that, actually. They make a concerted effort to now to get him the ball near the goal line, since I think McDaniel got so much criticism for not doing it. There's one prop out here, though, that I think we both love. I don't know if it was you or Eversole who hit this one. Defensively, Bradley Chubb at a quarter of a sack.
I'm shocked that this is that's the elevated payout number.
That's crazy. Because look, I mean, the guy he's made one mistake in the last 5 weeks, which was the
Hmm.
penalty, but otherwise he's been everywhere. I would anticipate he would get in there. We obviously know Van Ginkel's going to be involved as well, but Dallas's offensive line is torn up right now. They're without, well,
Yep.
they're going to be without at least one, maybe two of their stalwarts on the offensive line. Again, Dak's had some problems with protection on the road and calling stuff out. I'm playing the Bradley Chubb. I like your Mostert pick as well. I do want to mention here also, of course, you can play the other games. That's why we're doing this before 1 o'clock today. And so check out the rest of the board. Also, they've got that Kevin Durant essentially free square for Christmas. So if you want to pair that, you can. Again, Zach Martin questionable versus the Dolphins, and Tyrod Smith is out. So make sure you use the code 5FIVE. Get that initial deposit matched up to $100. We'll be back for the Christmas Day games. But I think we're in agreement here. I think the Mostert props look good. Would you play Tony Pollard today?
If I'm playing Tony Pollard today, what's his rushing yards at? If I'm playing Tony Pollard, it's definitely a receiving prop today. This is a Dolphins defense that's stout against the run, and I think that the Dolphins will be in a position that they will be leading for a good portion of this ball game. So Dallas's game script, I think, is going to be a lot pass heavier.
All right, so we'll see how it plays out. Again, use the code 5FIVE. Thanks to Eric. Thanks to our producer, David Eversole. Make sure to check out these shows. We're trying to go as close to daily as possible here because we know a lot of stuff happening here near the holidays. Have a good day, everybody. Try to get your money.